Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JuvoHub podcast. Another exciting episode. Always so much fun to have these shows put together. And I am super stoked because I have a previous guest from the show who's back with us today. Audra Lamoon, nice to see you. How are you?
Hi, I'm really well and I'm really pleased to be back and can't believe it has been 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great topic back then. You came on and talked about omni-channel customer service. And it was a thrilling topic. We had Mark with us, Mark Howell. Miss that man. He's a good
Oh,
dude. Um, I know he's doing great with all of his fantastic training and teaching that he's doing out in the property management world. And it sounds like you haven't slowed down a bit. Where are you at? What are you doing these days?
well, finally I'm home for a bit, which is very nice.
Okay.
But that just means that it gives me time to work on why I developed the omni-channel thing even more into a mystery shopping digital platform. And that's been amazing. That's worked really well in retail and resi and office. And I'm now doing a model where clients can actually do their own mystery shopping with our help. So we're doing an in-house mystery shopping subscription model. So you can get the expert digital reports that we would create, but actually want to train those great people inside your company to do it for you. So this is really great if you've got, budget restrictions, things like that, but you still want great insight and experiential mystery shopping as opposed to the traditional mystery shopping. So that's what I'm working on this downtime.
Okay. Very cool. Well, we got to make sure we share some resources for that towards the end of the show. Make sure everyone can check that. That sounds awesome. It's like
Thank you.
I've had so many discussions with people about mystery shopping over the years, and it should be a teaching tool, not a write up tool
Correct.
or a rap on the knuckles type thing. You
Yeah.
know, and 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 I think that really leads well into what we're talking about today because our subject is about hospitality and
Mhm.
hospitality. What you do, because I know you cross a bunch of different business sectors, business
Mhm.
genres. You're all over the place, United States, UK, Middle East. You
Mhm.
got a lot of work that you do everywhere, which is just awesome. So your experience across all these different cultures and different
Mhm.
business models is going to be a huge asset to today's show. And when I think of the word hospitality, it just automatically brings that visual out of how do we care for our audience, our residents, like how do we
Mhm.
treat them. So I turn it to you. Like, what does that word mean to you? Why do you couple it with customer service? What's the relationship?
Um, Good question. I think when you talk about hospitality, sometimes you end up with hostility, quite the
Mm-hmm.
opposite, right? I've always joked about I'd love to do the hostility awards, especially when I've mystery shopped, right? I've got some amazing stories,
Yeah.
but there are always opportunities for learning, and you and I have spoken about this.
Mm-hmm.
Tapping into those knowledge gaps and helping clients with, listen, it's good to point this out, but this is what you do instead. So I think with hospitality, and especially when you're recruiting, the mindset always comes before the skill set. And the trick is to find that in someone, like what is their mindset around genuinely caring for people, consistently and intentionally wanting to serve. That is a mindset. It's not, and then the skill sets can come from that, right? You can always train people in the job, but you can't train people in the mindset. So I look for that natural ability first, and in whatever sector you're in, those are the people that generally do just such an amazing job, because when you're with the public or the residents and the guests, they really need to feel that they've been seen, valued, and heard, right? We know as customers, don't we, that
Right.
they've just said that narrative 1,000 times. Welcome, enjoy, la, 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 they're going through the motions, but you can tell when someone is having a genuine conversation with you, that they genuinely care, they're picking up on your cues, and that's the difference between customer service and hospitality. So customer service is transactional, and hospitality is that emotional experience. And that's how I think you can tell the difference. And that's what we try to point out in the mystery shopping or training, is show people how to do what they need to do. Not
Mm-hmm.
you do this. You welcome people when they come in. That's quite okay. Well, how do you welcome people when they come in? And do you welcome everybody the same way? And the answer is no, right?
Yes.
Consistency of level is great, but actually how you interact with people should be different depending on who they are, how they've turned up, what the weather's like, what's going on for them if you're reading their body language. So there's two
Okay.
distinct pathways for me: customer service being transactional, and then that hospitality is that emotional piece. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm totally on board with it, because it's we can get into the mindset of like, who's going to follow my policies and procedures for me when we're in that hiring mode and we're just trying to check the boxes,
Mm,
and we haven't really uh, helped the person understand, or maybe we don't even understand what we want to. If we're on the hiring side, what is it that we're really looking for? So it goes both ways for our audience here today. It's like, do you really know who you want to fill a position? Have you really thought it through from beginning to end? And then because I think of all the amazing, I'm going to use your expression now, because I've always used the expression customer experience or customer service experiences that I've had.
mm-hmm.
But you're right. It's more, I feel like they've been showing me genuine hospitality and not just trying to, make sure that they've answered my questions, which is two completely different
Yeah.
perspectives. That's awesome. That's very,
Yeah.
very cool. Uh, so we talked about your variety of experience. Now,
Mm-hmm.
property management, it can kind of we get a little bit maybe routine, and it's the same types of questions and trying to generate the same types of answers, different types of people. But what would you say to our audience, like when you think of all the different types of hospitality that you've experienced in
Mm-hmm.
different businesses, where does it apply, or how does it apply? Tips, best practices for property management professionals?
I think if you could learn from other industries and benchmark apples and pears rather than apples and apples. I know that people research their competitors, but I don't think that's where the best lessons are going to come from. And I think that's why Livewire did so well coming into the residential world, was because what we brought in from retail, hotel, and resorts, and offices are learning from what we bring from the residential world now, which is great. So,
Mm-hmm.
you become the student, becomes the master, and so on, but you can never stop learning. And, I meet a lot of clients who say that they want to provide luxury service, luxury brands, and luxury means so many different things to so many different people. So I always say, you can identify what you say is luxury, and that could be a price point, that can be quality of products or amenities or whatever it would be. But really, if you're going to provide anything luxurious or high end, it's got to be that commitment from your team. So it goes back to the hiring and how you train them. So that commitment with consistency of service and intentionality again.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionality feeds into longevity. I always say that
Okay.
hospitality travels very well. Experiential hospitality travels very well. So if you're doing it right in one sector, you can adapt that for any other sector. So learning from hotels, resorts, etc., is a really good way to trial, adapt, and then create something for yourself. But all whoever they are, whatever role they perform, has to be with intentionality and consistency, because one failing can upset the apple cart, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
everyone's done a really good job, but if one person doesn't buy into that and doesn't step up, that can ruin the whole experience. And how many people like to write bad reviews as opposed to good reviews. It takes a lot of effort for someone to write a good review. You have to be super duper fabulous for someone to unsolicitedly write a review, but it doesn't take it takes people that, doesn't it? It's like, right, I'm going to write
Yeah.
review
Yep.
if it's
Yep.
bad.
Real quick.
Yeah. So it's that one team, one dream ethos. And that's what you find. Hotels and resorts are really, really good at that one team, one dream and teaching each other in the moments. So there's those surprise and delight moments that we can give residents, but those training in the moment that you need to give your teams as well, and not get offensive or defensive about it. So having your teams understand that you will be trained in the moment is
Mm-hmm.
much better than something not being said or brought up later on when your next training, which might only be 3 months away from now. So
Mm-hmm.
immersive role playing training with a lot of empathy focused role plays is really important as well. How you put your teams in the shoes of residents in all these mad situations that you find yourself in, and how do you really get yourselves out of it and salvage something. And I always tell my clients, even when things go wrong, it's an opportunity to create an emotional, positive relationship. Because if you fix something first time and in time, your residents are going to love you. And it totally eclipses what went wrong for them in the first place. Because they will wax lyrical about you if you've done something in 10 minutes or an hour. And, I had no water and now I'm showering an hour later, and they're amazing. And not only did they fix that, they saw something else and fixed it too. So if you couple that mindset of fixing something first time and in time and then anticipating needs, it's another hotel industry skill that is superior really to any other industry. Anticipating, and companies like the Walt Disney Company, they hire seekers, right? They go out actively seeking people to help. They're brilliant at reading body language and never assuming, only anticipating. It's a very, very high-end skill. So there's all sorts of tips and techniques you can learn from the hospitality industry on a broader depth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that I love it. I love those. I love the tips, the thoughts, because it's like no matter where we're at, just hearing you, it's like what are our own teaching moments when we come away from a
Yeah.
hospitality type experience? What did we walk away from? Whether it's good or bad, we should walk away with a lot. There should be a lot that we come away with. How did we appreciate that? And especially being in the training industry, it's like there's always, that's just our mindset. So is there, maybe to simplify it just a smidge for our audience, when
Mhm.
they're like, when you're in the moment, is there something that you do, like a mental quick, like, okay, I need to write this down, what that person did? Or is it like a mental snapshot of the moment of good or bad, like or when you're about to approach a potential hospitality type experience, like what does that moment, that 1 minute feel like for you?
So there are moments, I'm assuming you're talking about when somebody needs help or there could be conflict or,
Yeah.
there can be some scary moments. We kind of all, when things are going right, it's the easiest job in the world. Anyone can create, all while things are going well, we're going to create great moments.
Yeah.
We're all capable of doing that. It's when things go wrong that we really have to step up a gear. I think you'd agree. So
Yes.
there's a little technique I teach people. If they think this isn't going too well, or someone's coming at you, and I've seen this at Walt Disney, at five-star hotels. I've seen this because things happen where people are coming for you. It's not your fault. You've not done anything, but you're reaping their wrath, right? So there's a
Hmm.
little technique called the learn technique. Have you heard of it?
No.
So if you think the word learn, Learn, that's a really good technique to help you manage conflict or a venting resident. So if someone's coming at you, shouting, screaming, having a fit, and you're trying to do, assess and process what's going on, think of the word learn, and it's really easy. So L is for listen. So you just have to listen. You don't have to go into solving anything. It's not for you to solve at that moment. And sometimes people just want to vent. So it could be that you'll let off right after the L, right? Not
Right.
always, but let them vent. And when they've stopped, and you always know when someone stopped because they're like, right?
Yep.
They're like, that's it. They've run out of steam. While they're doing that, think of E. That's showing empathy. You still don't have to say anything. You don't go into solving any solution-based responses. So you're showing them the empathy. You're nodding. You're putting your head to one side. You might be holding them depending on how bad the situation is. So you're showing them empathy. Then you go into the LEA, which is apologize. And again, this is another lift-off point. Sometimes people just want to have been heard and apologize to, and that might be all there is. I'm sorry this has happened to you. That's not admitting liability. So you're all safe, not saying, oh yeah, our company is really terrible. We should never have done that. We should have got that crocodile out the pool before we let you in there. You're quite right.
Yeah.
So apologize that it's happened to them. And then you go into that resolution, that rectifying thing, that how would you like me to make this better for you? Then they'll generally tell you. So this is to stop people going, oh, I'll get you a gift card. Oh, I'll get you next month's rent free. Oh, because sometimes we go over the top because they're in such a panic. How can I make this better for you? And then they'll tell you. Now, if they don't know, you've got to use your common sense. And this is when let's come and have a discussion, get them into a place where you can get them seated with a drink, get on first name terms. And then you go into that resolution and rectify what you can. So empowering your teams to make those decisions in those moments is extremely important and brilliant for experiential hospitality. So you're now in that rectifying stage. And then sometimes it might be that you can't fix something in the moment, but you know that you know it's going to be fixed. So there's that notification process. So there's N for either notifying a superior. You've been empowered to do what you can do, but you still might need to notify somebody, or it might be because there's an external partner that's needed, or whoever, or you have to notify management or whatever it would be. Or you might have to notify that resident again the next day. So you make that promise. I'm going to come back to you tomorrow and update you with whatever the situation was. Yeah. So that learn technique helps you to walk through those difficult moments and diffuse any situation. And that's what that's built for. And we teach that in all sectors, and it really helps.
Okay. Wow. And I'm sure that's just a smidge of what your class is all about too. I know you summarized it, but that's a great path to follow, the learn path and how we approach customer service. And I'm sure everyone is thinking of those moments, both good and bad, that they've experienced personally or they've had to deal with in that, in the apartment community office, trying to downplay a situation. So such an important topic. And especially when there's so many other factors that are happening to people that aren't related to the problem too. It's like,
right.
They were late to work. They're, couldn't pay a bill. Something happened with their children at school. Like there's all these external factors that contribute to what we think is a small problem, but there's all these things that we don't know about that are going on too. So it just takes that extra level of the learn path. I love it. That's amazing.
Empathy piece is massive, isn't it? The industry, all industries talk about empathy now, and the companies that really take this on board are the companies that last. And longevity is going to be a big thing. So you're going to hear a lot about longevity over the next few years, because businesses, companies, industries are thinking about how do we retain people and how do we retain clients? What is it that we have to do to create longevity so we're not forever renewing, forever touting for business, forever trying to keep people? And remembering that people they don't leave buildings, they leave feelings. So if people do not feel heard, felt, or seen, they check out and you're the last person to know. So by the time they get to tell you they've started to look for somewhere else to live or they found some, it's too late. They checked out. People leave feelings behind. They don't leave buildings behind. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
No,
that's a great perspective. I love that. And I love this question that my production team put together too, because I was looking at this question and I'm thinking, okay, we've got retention. Retention's in this question.
Right.
And how do when we take the hospitality approach, how does it drive retention? And you mentioned one item just a moment ago, buildings and feelings. Is it just for the customer that we're focused on retention, or do you think when a company is focused on a hospitality driven approach to caring for people, does retention now apply to the employees, like how they feel about their job? What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. I would always say employees first, customers second in any industry. And I learnt that actually with the airline industry. So as everybody knows, I'm a failed rubbish air hostess. I was bloody useless. But that aside, I was always being taken care of because I was sick all the time. And Richard Branson was really one of the first people to coin this phrase about look after the employees and they'll take care of your customers. Yep. But we did do that at Disney too, to be fair. It was like looking after the employees, which is why so many people liked to work at Disney for the prestige, but they were taken care of. And so once you do that, if you have that mindset to take care of each other first, it's a natural bleed into society. So if you're taking care of your team, it's so much easier to train people to take care of the customer. So you're actually teaching people to be relationship builders with their residents, not customer service agents, but you are relationship building because you're already taking care of each other. And the residents love to see the camaraderie with the employees. And we did a few test projects back in the day on distressed assets, mixed use, particular retail, resi and office. And we watched people that we had trained employees to take care of each other and ignore customers. It was phenomenal to watch. And we watched from a rooftop. So we were filming.
Okay.
And to see all the third-party partners, so the property managers, the leasing team, the maintenance team, safety and security, the community team, watch them to watch the customers, watch them was really fascinating. And then what happened was the residents tried to get in on the act. So the next 2 days later, we said, now do that with the customers and the shopkeepers and the resi people and so on. And it was amazing to watch how that camaraderie built. So it's phenomenal. But you are all relationship builders. You either are or you're not building relationship in any given moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Excellent practical. I don't want to call them reminders. They are reminders, but they're more than reminders. Yeah. There is just, it's a message. There's a reason why people like you, my friend, are so well known and well brought into companies, because we know it's a constant problem. It's not like there's nobody that can say, oh, I had a customer. I gotta see, I almost said it, Audra. I almost said it. Because that's what we call it. I had a customer service training session. Okay. Well, how well did it go? Why did you have to have another one and another one and another one? And here we are talking about it from a very different perspective, from to the lens of hospitality. We need it. Yeah. We need it so much. So, man, amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I hope it doesn't take I hope it doesn't take 5 years to get you back on the show again. So I apologize for not having you back on sooner, but I'm absolutely grateful to have you back. It's so great to see you. And I want our audience to know, like, how can we stay in touch with you? What's your website? Give us a little idea on how we can learn more about the program that you've been building and developing for residential property management.
Sure. So it's livewire-experience.com. The best way to get hold of me is, excuse me, is to email me.
Okay.
Audra at livewireperformance.com.
Okay.
And I will come straight back to you with our programs and help you to make your residents and employees stick with you longer. We want sticky employees and sticky residents. That's what we're after, about elevating the experience for everybody, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. Make sure all that is in the show notes. And thank you for taking the time just to give us a a smidge of your intuition, experience, everything that's all about you, because I know I could listen, we could talk about this forever. There's so
Big
many
subject.
offshoots of this topic. And so I'm grateful for the nice high level. And that's our message for our audience. Just change the phrase in your head and just see how that plays it out different. Customer service to a hospitality approach. So thank you so much, Audra.
You're
Great to have
welcome.
you on the show. And for our listeners today, I appreciate you. Appreciate you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode today. We'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.